We're here at Liaison for our first prenatal checkup. We're having a baby overseas.
This video is about having a baby overseas. Now, if you haven't noticed in some of our other videos, we have a couple of children, and we had our first child when you were.
When I was a dependent.
And we had our second child
when I was in the military.
And now we are having our third child.
And I'll be separating.
But you are also currently
in the military, yes.
Right. So having a baby overseas has, it raises a lot of questions. What is the situation like? What are the facilities like? What are the personnel? And in this video, we're going to cover some of that and just explain how the process works. So if you are interested in this material, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and stay tuned.
Baby. That's our baby. That's your little brother.
All right, so as we mentioned, first child was as a dependent, the second child was mill-to-mill, and now our third is mill-to-mill transitioning to a dependent again. And all three of our children may potentially be born in Germany, but our first two were born in Germany here at the Liaison Regional Medical Center, which, if you've ever heard of the term LARMC, it's like the largest medical facility in Europe. And if you've ever gone through Ramstein as a passenger onto another base, all medical patients have to come back the same way, and they get stabilized at LARMC. So it's a really big medical facility for all of DoD, and it's actually joint, so it's Army, Navy, Air Force, etc. And so we had our babies at LARMC. And so when you were a dependent, what kind of options did you have?
So as a dependent, I had the option of either receiving prenatal care and having my child at LARMC, or I could go off base to a local hospital.
Right. So you had the options of the German national system to have the baby, or LARMC itself, or DoD facilities. We ended up going with DoD facilities, but even that being said, most of the staff, while being active duty at LARMC, there are a lot of host local nationals that work there at the hospital. And then, but once you became active duty, what were your options then?
The only option they gave me was to have the baby at LARMC and to receive all of my prenatal care at LARMC. That being said, there are certain circumstances where a military member could receive care at a local hospital. Say they're stationed outside of the local area, outside of the KMC.
Yeah, so if you have a more remote assignment and there are no medical facilities that are hosted by DoD, the option is to do a host nation patient liaison. And that person will be assigned to you and sponsored by DoD, and they will do the translation and help you with some of the administrative work that needs to be done. And they will be appointed to you every time you have an appointment, and you need to go receive care all the way through to the end of the pregnancy, the end of the birth. So it definitely makes things more accommodating. Most Germans do speak English, but there are always going to be differences, and there are always going to be uneasiness or concern when you're talking about something as critical as having a baby. Right. So that option of going to the local national hospital, that is available if you are active duty, but only in the circumstances that they don't have that care available. And it's kind of like the TRICARE situation back home, where your preference is to go to a military facility. Otherwise, you do what TRICARE sponsors. Now, outside of that, you might be wondering, because both of our children were born in Germany, are they German citizens?
No, definitely not.
No.
You have to have at least one German parent to apply for German citizenship.
Yeah, and this is another topic, but getting German citizenship is not very easy. It requires it's complicated. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so instead of a birth certificate, both of our children were given a report.
It's like born abroad.
Yeah, a report of born abroad, child born abroad. And it's a really pretty certificate, and they'll use this for the rest of their lives in lieu of a birth certificate. And it serves the same purpose. And so you'll have to get your no-fee passport for your child with that report of child born abroad. But yeah, so just plain and simple, they are American citizens, and only if a German citizen is one of the parents will they actually be German citizens. Now, in regards to like the actual equipment the facilities and the patient providers over at LARMC, would you say that they were pretty good?
Absolutely. They were great. The prenatal services were, they were good. Labor and delivery was amazing. If there is one thing that I've heard people complain about, it's the fact that you may not see the same provider throughout your entire pregnancy, but it's just something to be expected because it's a military hospital, so people are going to PCS in and out. That being said, the providers they're wonderful. I've had nothing but good experiences with all 3 of my pregnancies. Everyone has their own experience, but I have nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, and then they even gave us a lot of like entitlements or free equipment and free classes, free counseling, free literature. Like, for example, they hand out all sorts of booklets, and they have people. USO will actually have people come in, like famous parenting authors and psychologists, child psychologists, and they'll come by occasionally and give seminars available to new parents. And they even had some counseling options for me as a father, so they don't just treat the mother, they also treat the father as well to some of these things, breathing exercises, and how to do the basics as being a new father as far as that goes. But yeah, they really kind of covered every base, I think, all in all.
Yeah, a big one that they have is they have lactation consultants. So it's a pretty big community out here, and you have your group of women who they love breastfeeding, so you have the lactation consultant just in case you need them. They do have the first time parenting classes, and they just teach you little tips and tricks and what to expect. I'd say it was beneficial being a first time mother far away from my family. I didn't really have a support group, so it was nice to have those classes.
That pretty much covers the point of this video. We were just wanting to highlight some of the basics on when it comes to having a baby overseas. You're gonna have concerns, that's normal, but as far as paying for it or your care that's going to be given, all that is taken care of.
If you have any questions, if we missed something, just drop it in the comments and we'll get back to you.
Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and God bless.